DC Multiverse!
How's it going, super friends? Welcome back to the channel. Today on the review bench, we have the Mcfarlane Toys DC Multiverse Thomas Wayne Flashpoint Batman. I can tell you that as a longtime reader of DC Comics, rarely do we see a new intro into the Pantheon so widely received and accepted. Thomas Wayne is a Batman in a universe that was created by Barry Allen when he mucked up the timeline. In the Flashpoint universe, it was Thomas and Martha Wayne that survived the attack from the gunman in the alleyway after the movie, and not Bruce Wayne. Thus, Thomas Wayne becoming that universe's Batman, and Martha becoming the Joker. The Flashpoint take on the Batman proved to be so popular that he was actually saved from his universe as it was being written out of existence, thanks to the scheming and conniving Reverse Flash, and brought into current continuity, just so that Thomas Wayne's Batman could form an allegiance with that universe's Bane, all in an attempt to break the Batman. Thomas just didn't want Bruce to be Batman, so rather than breaking him physically, the idea was to break him mentally. And boy did they go to some big extremes. Big extremes. Yeah, DC, I'm never gonna forgive you for that one. Anyway, the figure comes in that familiar black, white, and blue packaging with the big window in the front that we're used to seeing with all of Mcfarlane Toys DC Multiverse action figures, with the one side of the packaging specifying it is Batman from the Flashpoint, and the other one just having his name and a little bit of the window on the side. On the back, we see an image that, as usual, will be the trading card, as well as other characters that were released in the series, all of which I've reviewed previously on my channel, so feel free to take a gander if you'd like. Once out of the box, this is everything that the Batman figure comes with: the figure, the guns, and oh yeah, there's also a stand, but that's a given. They always come with a stand. Here's the trading card. It's an iconic image of Flashpoint Batman, to say the least. It's from the cover of Batman issue number 22. There was a fantastic crossover between Batman and Flash comics. I highly suggest you pick it up. Looking up close at this figure from toe to head, we can see that every single detail from the original source material is preserved on this figure, and then some. We know that it's McFarlane's way to add extra little fine details here and there to gussy up the figure to make it a little bit more interesting for collectors to look at and put on a shelf. The head sculpt for this Batman looks pretty much spot on. It is sculpted absolutely fantastically. Every nook and cranny and his grimace in the cowl, and it looks great. Although I will say that this Batman figure does have a comically large amount of stubble on his chin that actually looks more like a goatee. I could probably do without that. But in general, the figure looks absolutely fantastic. Seriously, the quality and detail of this guy is totally through the roof, and I feel like it's an absolutely fantastic way for Todd to end off the year, his first year with the DC license. No expense has been spared into what went into this figure. Every detail. There's even bullet holes in his boots there, and his shin guards. You got the knee pads, lines all up in the suit there, utility belt, the little buckle there. You've got his holsters here at the side. You got the sculpted bat with the red circle behind it right there on his chest. These gauntlets are uber awesome. Look at that. That's fantastic. I mean, I wouldn't want this on a regular Batman figure, but it totally suits Thomas Wayne. The cape is made out of a semi-softish rubber. It's not too soft, but it's also not what you would call stiff. And you've got these points here on the shoulder, which were also exactly what he had in the original source material. This is a totally fantastic looking figure. Now, as far as the topic of articulation goes, Thomas is going to have it as follows. You got that ball peg in the chest, and it's actually really articulated. There's a lot of range of motion there. And don't let the stiffness of the waist articulation fool you. He really does have a 360-degree ball-hinged tornado waist as well as the head. Let's see what you can get. Down about that, up about that, as well as bibble-bobbling side to side. Also up in the armpits, he's got these rounded hinges here, and the piece of plastic that acts like a butterfly hinge that really does help with the articulation. In this case, he's got bicep swivels. He's got double-jointed elbows, and how useful they are remains to be seen. He does have these great big gauntlets, the gloves that get in the way, so that's really all you're gonna get out of him. Of course, he has that rounded hinge in the wrist, and we know what that can do, back and forth, round and round. It's pretty articulated, and it's kind of hidden by the glove. It doesn't look as ugly as it does sometimes. Of course, from the waist down, he's got that McFarlane groin, we all know, and there's nothing as far as, a thigh cut. That kind of motion is pretty much nil, but he does have the forward motion that we would like. It goes up, 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 about that. Maybe that could be a little bit better. And then, of course, for the back here, there's his butt. It's going to get in the way, so it can go back about that. However, he can splitty splat. So, you know, we know that Mcfarlane groins, how much articulation they get up here in the upper legs and the thighs, is hit or miss with each individual figure. Of course, he's got that double jointed knee setup that Mcfarlane Toys has, gives you ample articulation and posability, as well as that rounded hinge right here in the ankle that we know what it does. It goes around, it spins, it pivots, it even gives you breakfast in bed, and then he's got this here toe articulation that crunches up too. Is it articulated enough? I don't know. You decide. Be the judge of that yourself. But I do feel like it's got enough for someone like me and probably most collectors, unless you're into getting your figures in just insane, crazy poses for Instagram. If we're talking about size comparisons, here he is next to two figures that I feel are A, relevant to this Batman, and also B, two of my favorite. DC Essentials Rebirth in black, and Mcfarlane Toys Batman, although, as usual, this one's been highly customized. Next, I feel like it's kind of relevant to bring in two speedsters, the Flash and the Reverse Flash. Yes, I've attempted a head swap on the Mcfarlane Toys to get rid of that angry face. That's the DC Essentials head, so for those of you wondering if it fits, well, there you go. And the DC Essentials Reverse Flash is on the other side. And now that we've gone through all that, the packaging, the accessories, the articulation, the comparisons, the close-up shots of the figure, now it's a time where I give you my opinions. Is it worth you taking the time and effort and the funds to track this guy down on the hunt? Or should you just leave him where he lies and wait for an even better Thomas Wayne figure to be released someday? Well, if you've been paying attention, you'll know that this is a figure that I'm really, really impressed with. I say this a lot, this is one of the best Mcfarlane figures that he's released to date. And that's because I'm consistently impressed with this action figure line. I will have an end of the year Mcfarlane Toys action figure video coming out. I'm not sure if it's going to be every single figure ranked, or if it's just going to be my top 10 or 20, but there definitely will be one coming out because, let's face it, Mcfarlane Toys has stole the show with their DC license. Absolutely, 100%. Even though you guys know that I certainly wish there were more non-Bat characters, the quality that Mcfarlane pumps out is consistently good. And as I've said before in many other videos, I'm going to say it with this one is certainly one of his best. So yeah, I say if you can find this guy out in the wild and you're on the hunt, pick him up, put him in your cart before a scalper gets him and sells him for 3 times the price on eBay. Bring him home, put him on the shelf, introduce him to the rest of your action figures because I think he's going to fit right in. Heck, he's going to do more than just fit right in with them. He's going to be a boss among bats. Anyway, super friends, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Hopefully you found this video to be an interesting, useful, fun waste of time for the day. And if you did, that's fantastic. You know where the like button is. Leave any comments you have down below. And I will see you with the next one. Have a fantastic, super awesome DC day, super friends. And take care.